Hi, I'm Greg Schaefer, and welcome to the Virtual CISO Moment. Sturdivant joins us today. He is a cybersecurity consulting principal with deep experience helping organizations navigate information security, regulatory compliance, and risk management challenges. Sai spent nearly 2 decades working across public accounting, financial services, and consulting environments with a strong focus on frameworks and regulations, including lots of letters: GLBA, FFIEC, NIST Cybersecurity Framework, and IT General Controls. He is a certified information systems auditor and has held leadership roles with Forbes Mazars. I hope I pronounced that right. Mazars, thank you. I tripped over that before. BKD and other advisory firms throughout his career, helping organizations mature their cybersecurity and governance programs while balancing operational realities and regulatory expectations. Thank you, ChatGPT in the office there, for that intro. And Sai, thank you so much for joining us today.
Absolutely. Good morning. Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you again. And it's been, of course, we have known each other for quite some time. I think it goes back to shortly around the time when I first started this wonderful vCISO services experiment. And I appreciate all the advice and counsel that you gave me back then. And we've dovetailed on certain things since then. And you were actually one of the earlier guests in season, I guess it would be season 4 on the Virtual CISO Moment back 4 years ago. So why don't you catch us up to like some of the things that you've done since then and what you're doing today?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's been 4 years. So I'm probably just like most, it's like, goodness, what has been, like happening the past 4 years? So first and foremost, I probably would say from a life perspective, like kids are growing like weeds, and from a family perspective, just trying to balance everything there. But from a work perspective, it's been nonstop. We've gone through our own change, just like you were saying, from BKD to a merger to create Forbes and Forbes Mazars, and trying to, kind of balance all that expanded footprint. And then obviously COVID had hit when we had originally discussed, but all of that change and shifting and the remote nature and really serving clients all over the nation has been fantastic. But it's also very hard to kind of, like, where am I working this week? Who am I serving? Where am I going? It's always something. And just like this, you and I always share conversations about, from an education, you want to educate, you want to motivate. So I've been really trying my best to get back in front of people. So just in terms of conferences, little breakout sessions and symposiums, just trying to really get out there on the forefront of all the craziness that's changing. So it's been a great 4 years, a lot of change. But if you want to be successful in anything in our line of work, right, you have to be really adaptable to change. You just got to lean in, have a good positive attitude, and just do your best, right? And learn every chance you get, and just give up on the aspects of trying to, be one step ahead, trying to be like caught up. I gave up on that. So I try to stay close enough to that bleeding edge and stay informed. But just a consistent daily effort of, for the past 4 years, I could probably just summarize it to say, do your best every day. And when the day's done, like, recharge, move on to something else, and do your best tomorrow.
And I think you touched on something so important that often, particularly earlier in careers, I think that people starting out don't put as much emphasis on that they should, and that is to get out, and that is to network and to interact with folks. And when you go network with folks, you not only get to hang out with your peers, but you get to hang out with some folks that have a lot of years of knowledge, such as you, and experience, and then even dinosaurs such as me. This gives me a chance to plug that I'm going to be at speaking about being an information security consultant at B-Sides Roanoke coming up this Friday. And then on June 13th, if you happen to be in the Des Moines area, I wanted to say Des Moines, in the Des Moines area, I'll be speaking on the same thing there too. But how important has networking, not the computer side, but the people side, been for your career?
Oh, it's exceptionally important, because the relationship aspect, especially for somebody like myself, that when you're working inside an organization, like if you're working inside a bank, a credit union, mortgage, insurance, regardless of what you're working in, networking with your peers, networking with your team is extremely important, no doubt. Like, you have to lean on one another and delegate and get insights and have somebody on your side to go to the leadership. But for my role and your role too, it's like if you don't network and people don't know who you are, people don't know what you like. Why are you doing this? What is your purpose? Why are you here? Like, what do you do? Like, if they don't know that, then you have no way of taking, for me specifically, all of this stuff. And hopefully it comes out in this discussion, the passion that I have for the job, the interest, the curiosity.
Yeah.
Nobody knows that. Nobody can ever get exposure if you don't network, if you don't get yourself out there, if you don't form those friendships and then gain those insights. It's a two-way street. You want to share, right? But you also have to consume and listen.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I figured that out a long time ago, because I am not the sharpest pencil in the toolbox kind of thing, right? Like, I'm not the smartest person in the room, but I have intelligence and I have an interest, and I will use that to the best of my ability. But I love conversations. I love meeting new people. I love getting out. I'm an extrovert, so I get a lot of my energy from people. So that side of it just always connected well for me. But honestly, in the early days, I didn't realize the importance. But looking back on it, absolutely, the relationships, who you know, who you help, who you listen to, for that matter, right? Who you connect with and share your time with, just like this, it absolutely matters. Relationships are probably the most important thing you have, personally and professionally.
So building off of that, I'll ask, why are you doing this? I mean, you spent a lot of your career in financial institutions, regulated organizations, and all that fun stuff. What originally drew you into this crazy world?
Yeah, keep it short and sweet. My grandfather, I always tell this story. My grandfather sold life insurance, but through his relationships with just families and individuals, he also had a very, very close relationship with our small local bank in this little small town that I grew up in. So as I was a little kid, I would, be downtown or out like the little street with the flashing red light. We didn't even have stoplights. But he'd be like, "Hey, I've got to go to the bank. Hey, I've got to go to the bank. Hey," he would just always, no matter what situation, "I've got to go to the bank. You want to come?" So I would always go with him. And I always just kind of had this bank as just this really cool concept. So for whatever reason, that just stuck with me. And as I went through high school and college, just wanted to work in a bank, wanted to work in banking. So I did. I got an accounting degree and finance degree and got my first job in banking, but it was not in the IT or security or cyberspace. This was back in 2005. So cybersecurity wasn't really a buzzword back then. Information security definitely was, but yeah, I tried various things. I did not like it. So what's that old Latin phrase? Like, I don't know what the Latin phrase is, but it's know thyself. So I took a chance. I'm like, hey, I don't like any of the things that I've tried. Is there anything else in this trainee program that I can get exposure to? And luckily, the risk management officer was like, yeah, we actually got wrote up. We don't have an IT auditor. We don't have an IT specialist in this division. Would you like to take a shot at it? And I love technology. This was back when computers and the internet and just different things were really starting to take off. So I had a desire to learn more about it. So it was weird how it all just kind of combined, that business background, the banking, right? That love of banking and the technology overlay. It just created this perfect recipe of, it's hard to keep my attention, but things were changing and things were so cool and interesting. I just dove straight in and loved every second of it. And literally that one lucky happenstance conversation turned into 20 plus years. So.
Well, and I love that story and the weaving, and you didn't really have a plan necessarily that this is where you were going to go, but you just did, and kind of let things happen and opened up opportunities. I like to, I don't remember where I heard this, but I did just hear it recently. You know what makes God laugh?
When you make a plan, right?
When you make a plan. Maybe we heard that at the same place. I don't know. But
oh, yeah.
and similar for me, it's like I I fell into technology. My undergrad is mechanical engineering. I just did this as a part-time student assistant, the network stuff. And now, 36 years later, it's like, or 37 now, I guess I got to tick that over. It's like, still doing the same thing. And I think one of the things, whenever the conversation comes to this, touches on this topic when on the podcast, is I just like to remind people that are starting to get into the field is that it's okay to not know exactly where you're going yet. Try a few different things and see what you like and see what you don't like, because you don't want to be doing something you don't like for the next 30 or 40 years.
Agreed. Yeah. Even if you're really good at it, if you don't enjoy it, you're never going to be engaged. You're never going to lean in. You're never going to have that consistent energy, that perfect formula of I'm doing what I love and I'm doing what I'm really, really good at. That's the secret sauce right there.
Well, and of course, a lot of things change in our field, which makes it kind of exciting. But there are some things that have stayed consistent despite all the technology changes. And what are some of the things that you've seen in your career that have remained consistent?
I'd probably say this may not be where you're wanting to go, but like just being positive, being helpful. Just every day looking for ways to do your best, like that consistent, like no matter what happens, I'm going to look at the bright side kind of thing, right? There's been so much time that I've had, again, like you were saying, those conversations, relationships, engagements where I'm going in and I'm doing, an audit or an assessment, right? Like it's just naturally going to be I'm grading, I'm criticizing somebody's program. So
you get some resistance probably,
yeah,
right?
a lot of resistance. But honestly, I'd say just kind of looking back from the early days to now, yeah, if you have a really good, proactive, positive outlook mentality, like I'm going to use good or bad this situation to learn something, to potentially, get inspired by something or change or improve. If you have that outlook, so many good things happen. So yeah, I'd say regardless of technology, mergers, health issue, you name it, right? Like family curveballs happen all the time, career curveballs happen all the time. I know you've seen your fair share of people coming to you saying, hey, like my company just got bought out and I lost my job. And I've seen countless of that. But it's weird that the people who are just like, what's next? Like, it's almost like they're excited for the opportunity to learn and advance and stretch. That's what's coming to mind, Greg. That's probably the biggest thing that I think will never change is what do you do when life punches you on the chin, right? Like, how do you respond? Is it going to be positive? Are you going to just be optimistic? Have faith, not to go too far down that, but I think that's the stuff that's just cornerstone. Like if you have that, somehow or another, like good things will just naturally happen for you.
Yeah, and literally happened this morning where there's a guy in the office suite here. My office is for those who don't know is in it's kind of like a co-working type space. So there's a lot of like startups. It's kind of an incubator type space for small businesses. So we share all common facilities like a concierge and printer and all that stuff. And one of the folks down at the end of the hall down here that I always wave to, because whenever I'm walking towards the kitchen area, it's like I'm staring straight at him. So I'm like, hey, Chuck, good morning. Well, I noticed a couple of days ago that he was moving stuff out, and I didn't get a chance to talk to him, but I saw him at the front desk when I came this morning. I'm like, hey, what's up? He's like, oh, we had to shut down the company offshore that I guess they're a part of, like suddenly like went under. And it's like, it's exactly what you just said. It's like, I tried to be as positive as I could for him and to be a resource in case needed. But part of where I was going was a previous discussion you and I had about the acronym TEA or T.
Oh yeah.
So let's jump into that. First of all, I guess we need to start with, what does that stand for?
Yes. Yeah. So it goes into things that you were saying, hey, what's changed in the past 4 years? The insanity of the demands of life, career, family, just everything, right? So TEA stands for your time, your energy, and your attention. So I have tried to be extremely, extremely focused on we're all given the same amount of time every day. We have 24 hours in a day, and most of that you're sleeping, right? So what are you going to do with the rest of it? How productive, how intentional, how successful will you be with that time you're given? And success isn't just the career. It's the family too. It's your happiness. It's your, how fulfilled are you? How you're tired at the end of the day, but you left it all out on the field, kind of thing, right? So yeah, that time, energy, and attention. And I love my tea. I drink green tea probably 2 to 3 cups a day. And in the wintertime, it's more because it's colder. Like right now, I get a little hot, so I don't drink as much. But it's just that great tangible reminder every morning when I make a cup of tea. I'm like, okay, how am I going to protect my time? How am I going to protect my energy? How am I going to protect my attention? Because if you do all 3 exceptionally well, you will accomplish tremendous, tremendous things. And by accomplishing tremendous things, I mean the things that you want to do. Mm-hmm. So that's why I want to protect that for myself, because I want to accomplish the goals that I have. If you do really good time management, if you have really good energy, like you're sleeping, you're exercising, you're eating well, you're putting good boundaries in place, and you limit distractions, your attention's there, but you don't have really good goals, you'll be extremely successful and productive, but for somebody else, right? Like you'll get their goals done. So that's the stuff that I've really been trying to be more aware of, because everything on screens, I just found out, maybe this was kind of related to the past 4 years. I just felt that energy drain at the end of the day more so than I ever felt before. It's like, what's going on? Am I just getting old? I'm 43 years old. So it's like, I expected that to happen at maybe 50. Like I didn't expect this huge energy dip. So I just started reading books and being more aware.
He says that to a 58-year-old. So I should be dead now.
Oh man. Yeah, there was a funny little meme that I saw the other day that it said for every hour or every minute you're on a Zoom meeting, like reduces your life expectancy. It was something funny. And then it said, per my calculations, I should have died in 1844 or something like that. It was so good. It was so true.
But it's so important to bring that out, particularly, all 3 time, energy, and attention. Yeah, equally important. But I often more focus when talking externally to folks to make them realize that to not give away time. Or if you're going to give away time, be intentional about it. It's like time is the one gift that we have that is a resource that's not renewable. So if you give it as a gift, it is a very meaningful gift. So one of the things that always irks me is when I get requests. It's like, hey, can I just have 15-30 minutes of your time, pick your brain? And it's just someone out of nowhere that I have no relationship with. And I unfortunately have to say, it's like, no, first of all, I'd rather have a relationship with you first to understand what it is that where you're coming from. But also it's just like, if I did that to everybody, I would be spending my energy and attention on things that have nothing to do with my goal, to your point.
Exactly right. Yep. And
yet it seems like that as human beings, I know particularly with me, it's like I'm a people pleaser. I want to try to please people, and so I struggle with that at times too.
Yes.
How do you as I say in the presentation about being an information security consultant, I say you need to ruthlessly protect your time. How do you ruthlessly protect your time?
Yeah, for me, any concept like that, I always try to think of something like visual or tangible. And it was, I think it was a book that Brian Tracy wrote, and he has so many good ones, and I forget which one it was, but he said, view time, yeah, just like you're saying, as your most important asset. That there's other things that are extremely important, but time, and imagine you have that time like fortified. He's like, but you can't just put up a wall, because the wall means it's impenetrable. Like there's no way to get in and out. Like nobody can access you. So from a boundary or an access perspective, I like to view it as it's a door that's locked unless I open it. Mm-hmm. So for me, it's just every time I get that request, I'm like, exactly the same filter. Is this supporting what I'm out to achieve? And sometimes what I'm out to achieve is to help others grow, to help others succeed, to help others fulfill, right? Like things like that you and I are doing now. So if it's a channel, then I'm like, yeah, I should definitely say yes to this, but I'm not going to say yes today. I can absolutely do that, but it's going to be next Thursday at 3. Does that work for you? So
Yeah.
I always try to weigh it with what is the most important thing that needs to get done today. And normally I know that answer 3 to 4 days, a week in advance. If I have capacity, if it's somebody that says, hey, are you free for lunch? I'm really struggling with something. I'd love to get your perspective. Normally it's a yes. Otherwise, yeah, I'm with you. I view it as a extremely, extremely important boundary, because if you give away too much of your time, even if it's extremely valuable for that individual, oftentimes it's going to be valuable to you in the moment, but does it derail something that was a little bit more important, but definitely more urgent, that you just have a significant consequence? So for me, I'm always thinking through, every yes is a no to something else. So I kind of view it that way too. I view that scale. If I'm going to say yes and I didn't plan on this, is the consequence more, significant if I say no to the managing partner here in Nashville, right? I probably don't need to. Like, I probably need to go have that meeting. I need to go talk about that thing. But if it's somebody from a LinkedIn and, hey, I'd really love to, get your insights and grab lunch, and I've never met them before, the consequences are pretty low, and I don't know. So I kind of use filters like that to say I control it. I set that boundary. If it's somebody that really, really knows me very, very well, and I say no, they know I can't. That I have a commitment. They know me well enough to say, like, he really can't, but he gave me an option. He gave me an out. Always consider, it may not be today, but if it's worth it, if you think you should take a chance and give that time, just make sure it fits where that grid of, that important urgent that I always think of from an Eisenhower matrix, maybe it does fit, but it doesn't fit in today, right?
Well, I know your time is precious, and so I appreciate you spending time here. So I'm going to pick your brain for a little bit more on some things financial services, information security related. Really, with regards to community banks, community institutions, I'll say, because you work with credit unions as well too, right?
Yes. Yeah. Banks, credit unions, mortgage. Yep.
So the situations change, but today, what are the more common gaps that you see with their security programs now, and how are they treating that? Have they actually matured in the last 4 years a little bit more? Has there been significant changes, or is it a lot the same?
Yeah, that again, we serve, thank goodness, we serve a significant amount of clients across the country. So to give it a blanket statement, that's a hard one. I'll answer it in 2 categories. The ones that I feel like are really maturing, they've taken, the biggest bag of lemons, what COVID gave everybody,
Right.
And they turned it into some really good lemonade, right? Like they were able to recruit and bring in exceptional talent. Like, the institutions that are proactive, that have a good culture, they care. Like, I don't know a better way to say it. They just care. They want to do the absolute best. They want to protect the institution, but better yet, they want to protect the customers. They want to offer them the best services, but they still want to protect them at all costs. They mature, and they have done exceptionally well. But I would say they're the majority, if not, I'd say half or the majority, still stay in that very reactive, like, Si, thanks a lot. Appreciate your time. Thanks for the report. Yeah, we'll knock these out. Sure will. Thanks for your time. See you next year.
So it's more about maintaining compliance than continuing to build a security program.
That's a great way to phrase it. That if they view it as, I'm going to improve regardless of what a regulator says, regardless of what an audit says or a pen test, like that's just one time a year. Like, that's just 1 to 2 weeks, once a year, if you're lucky. So yeah, I do think it's like, if they have a security mindset, they want to be strong and mature and always looking for ways to tweak it and be better. Not necessarily like, we're going to put more and more and more and more layers. We're going to just be Fort Knox. Like, the most successful organizations don't necessarily view it that way. They're like, hey, what I'm given and what I know is coming and what I see, like, how can we how can we like layer this together and get this just right with what the resources and the budgets that we have. Like the ones that are creative and they just get it and they're engaged, they do so well. But unfortunately, I'd say there's a large portion that are just, they're only going to do it if I have a finding or the examiners give them a hard time. That's the only time they're going to move. Otherwise, they're just putting out fires all the time. So.
And I gotta say, from the virtual CISO perspective, that kind of gels as well too, because it more often than not, what we hear when we suggest like implementing growing aspects of the security program, we'll get responses back. Well, the examiners are fine with it, or the auditors are fine with it, and I try to give them the office space minimum amount of flare speech. It's like, I mean, I'm not saying that it's bad. I mean, it's great that you're meeting the minimum that you need to do, but it's the minimum. The bad guys don't care about the minimums. You can become more robust, and it doesn't take much. We can help grow you there, but there sometimes seems to be resistance to that, and I can't. It's kind of like feelings. I can't say that that's a good thing or a bad thing. That's just the way it is today.
Right.
And so I would agree. I think that's still a challenge. And fortunately or not, because financial services is so regulated, that's where we see it the most. It's like it's both an accelerant for growth and an impediment to growth, depending upon your the culture of the organization.
Well said.
So, well, one other question about gaps out there, because this was something that was not on our radar back then, but now is like one of the biggest things in the world. I'm talking about AI, generative and otherwise.
Yeah.
What are some of the challenges that you see with regards to financial institutions as far as adopting or not adopting AI? And that's a very broad question because AI is a very broad field, and I did it intentionally.
Yeah, it's interesting. There are larger, and I would put larger, say $4 to $5 billion institutions that are very aware. They're monitoring, but they're not really doing anything with it. And there's $500 million institutions that are in the same situation. They're just monitoring and not doing anything with it. Mm-hmm. And you have the flip side. Then you have literally the peer, another 5 billion institution that is just leaning in. They're excited. They're monitoring. They're looking for use cases. Because for years they have struggled trying to Betty Sue is reconciling the ATMs and it takes her 4 hours every, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday well, now we have this automation through Copilot and it does it in 5 minutes and she reviews it in 15 and we're off to the races. Like they're leaning into all of those just mundane, remedial, back office, point and click, kind of like the days before Excel, right? We had to do all this stuff with a calculator and manually and add it all up. Well, no, nobody does that.
Right.
I think the ones that are viewing it as a productivity, they're doing pretty good. They're leaning in, and that's what I'm seeing. They're doing some great things behind the scenes. The ones that are using it for really good, like use cases to automate, and yes, it's still production, but they're really doing it especially from like a vendor management or like a legal perspective. Governance, compliance, they're feeding it all of these guidelines, the GLBA regulations that nobody can read and stay awake, right?
I know.
You feed it all of this stuff, and if you build it correctly, it becomes like the absolute smartest consultant with the photographic memory. It answers and fights and does everything. So the ones that get it and they're viewing it that way, they're doing a great job. The risks that I see are there's some that are just like, oh, we got to turn it on. I don't know what it is, but we got to turn it on. I mean, everybody's turning it on, and they turn it on without doing any type of configurations. Most of it is Copilot, so they're somewhat secured. But if they don't,
it's staying in the same tenant, yeah.
Correct, yeah, but that's only if enterprise protections are turned on. So if they have it like E3 and higher, you pretty much get that. But they may only have it for the executive team. Everybody else just has the chat, and nobody's told them, hey, by the way, if you're using the free chat, you don't get that protection. You're training the models. So it's that ignorance, unfortunately. It's that lack of knowledge. They're letting everybody chat and ask it anything and upload things regardless of acceptable use. So it's just like that again, it's data governance 101. Did you classify it? Did you get it locked down? Did you communicate? Did you train? Did you keep all your crown jewels in one spot? Unfortunately, Greg, I'm still seeing a lot of looseness around that.
And that is the important takeaway from all this. No matter what the technology is, it's like it always comes down to the basics. It always comes down to the basics. And AI or earlier social media or earlier adoption to the cloud, or maybe you can flip social media and adoption to the cloud. I don't know. Those were all things that we kind of all freaked out about as well, too. Like, well, people are going to be posting things they don't need to, or people are going to be using cloud stuff. We can't have our information out on the cloud. It's like, no, you can do all this so long as you have the proper governance, the proper controls in place, the knowledge of where things are. That if you don't know where it is, if you don't have a good information inventory, you don't know how to control it. So that's kind of like the way too that I think that AI is going to go, is just like it is another tool. It certainly has more capabilities, but apply the basics and all this other stuff will be fine. Would you agree?
On the surface, yes. Hopefully, I try to be optimistic. I don't like to be skeptical. The only asterisk to that statement is the large corporations, right? Like the billionaires, the Microsofts, the Metas, the OpenAI, are they going to build it in the secure, safe manner that we expect them to? I hope they do.
Right. That's a whole nother thing. That's less about the usage and more about,
if they do that, then yes. It's like a car, right? Like I can be a safe driver, but if the car's not built safely, it doesn't matter what I do, I'm going to get hurt at some point. Like it didn't come with seatbelts, right? The brakes don't work that well. If you turn too sharp, the wheels fall off. It's like if you don't build it, I figured you like a car analogy. If you don't build it safely and have that quality control and just that expectation, like we're putting on them now from a federal government, like you've got to build this stuff really, really safe and securely, because you have no idea if a 7-year-old is going to prompt you or a 70-year-old is going to prompt you.
Right.
You've got to be able to do this effectively. It's just that it's the age old, is a hammer, is it a weapon or is it a tool?
Exactly. Well, there's a lot of stress though associated with all this learning and keeping up. And as always, I like to hear different stories about people, what they do to help decompress from the stress of all this. Quickly, what's one of the things that you do?
Yes. Again, going back to that time, energy, and attention. So from an energy perspective, I self-reflection, like what gives me a lot of energy, that is usually spending time with the family and just being outside. If it's a campfire, that is where I'm. Like this past Memorial Day weekend, we went camping, took our travel trailer out. I could be just extremely exhausted, and then within 15 minutes of being around a campfire, I'm just like, okay, what are we doing next? We'll play a game. Like it just gives me a lot of just recharge time. But yeah, just being around the kids. Again, like I said, depending what version of the kid, if they're happy, energetic, they want to go play, they want to do things, that's fun. If they're whiny and aggravating, sometimes that drains you. But for the most part, for me, it's just being outside, away from a screen, off a phone, reading a great book, having a great conversation with a friend, breakfast, right? Like you and I try to do, just in front of somebody and just getting either like you're getting a recharge from just being in nature, or you're getting a recharge from somebody else's positivity and encouragement. That's the biggest two for me.
I love it. What plans you got coming up?
We've got a busy summer. We've got some trips planned. I've got a couple of banking conferences to go to that the wife and the girls are going to tag along with, and then camping trips and a Dollywood trip, because my oldest.
Oh my goodness, Dollywood! I have never been. I don't know if I want to go or not, but I think I need to go there once.
My 10-year-old is a roller coaster junkie, so if I can keep her there instead of Disney, I am all in. I'm like every year, twice a year. I don't care. We'll go and we'll do everything in Dollywood. Just don't make me go to Disney.
Well, Disney, you gotta take out a second mortgage, right?
Exactly, and I don't want to do that right now. So, just
very
small things, but try to balance it out. Don't overcommit. Keep that time, well balanced. So.
Well, awesome, Sai. As I kind of expected that we went a little bit over in time, but that's okay. I love it with good conversations. Do you want to just briefly say where Sai the Cyber Guy comes from, or just a moniker that you like, or?
Oh yeah, I actually can't remember. I think it was a client about 10 years ago, or a coworker 10 years ago. They introduced me, and they were like, "And this is side to side." It just kind of came out, and it's stuck ever since. So
I love it.
I try to use that every chance I get. I like it too.
Well, Sai, the Cyber Guy, thank you, my friend, for joining us today and sharing your wisdom once again. Love to have you on again. Hopefully, it won't be quite 4 years next time, but appreciate your update on your insights into everything, and also educating us about the importance of time and energy and attention. So, thank you for joining us.
Absolutely, my pleasure. Protect it the best you can, everybody. So,
and everybody, stay secure.